Right guys, I'm out again for another wild camp in my local woodland, and possibly the last one of 2015. It's the 20th of December, and I want to try out hammock camping. Never done it before. I want to see what all this fuss is about. I made one a few weeks ago and I just hid it up in the woods, and then the wife decided she was going to get us one for Christmas, so I've got two. Got a nice new one, DPM camo, would really blend in well here, but the wife can't understand why I won't use that one. You know, I want to use the one that I made because I made it, and I want to, you know, I want to try that one first. So I've seen somebody there. But what it is, we have that campsite that's further along the woods. It's been compromised. Somebody's found it. They haven't pulled it down or anything. They've been building on it. They've been making it into more of an A-frame and weaving bracken in. And I thought about it. I thought, well, I'll let them have it. I'll just move somewhere else. And if it's giving them pleasure, good luck to them. You know, let them camp in the woods. Let them make it into something better. The only thing is, my grill's gone and my oven, that tin bin thing, that's like a waste bin, that's gone. Didn't get my tarps though. My tarp and my roll mats, I had them well hidden, so I brought them along to this new location. Bush chair, they nicked the cordage, but they left the... basically they took most of my gear, but didn't find my tarp and my roll mats, so I'm happy about that. But I've just come to this new location, and it's not bad. Somebody's been here before because there's litter everywhere. I mean, look at that. Absolutely disgusting. And this would have been a brilliant place. And I actually tested the hammock here when I first made it. It's between these two massive oaks. But the only problem is, I didn't like the look of some of them limbs, and I'm sure when I was along here in the summer, some of them, you know, some of them branches didn't have leaves on, so they could be dead. I've said it before, you just never know when a tree or a big branch is going to come down on top of you, and it's just not worth taking the risk. So even though this would have been my first choice, right next to a stream, I'm camping a bit further down that way, maybe it's 100 metres, I'm right next to the river. I've got a beautiful view over the fields, and it's facing east for the sun rising as well. But I'll take you around the area and I'll give you a look. So I've got a nice little water source. The only problem is it's a little bit treacherous getting down there. Got the main river just over there. What I was thinking of doing was just, I've got plenty of water in my camel bag, I've got 3 litres, but it's mainly just for like washing my dishes and that. Just hang a rope off one of the trees and I can sort of rappel down. Nah, nothing that fancy. It's that muddy, it's just difficult to get up and down, so I just hang a rope around, that'll help us. I tried crossing it the other day and I was sliding all out, it's just too dangerous. It's not that steep actually, it's just muddy and slippery. So not a bad little area really for an overnight wild camp. Quite secluded. And over there in the distance, that's where I live, that's my home, my housing estate. Camera's probably having difficulty focusing through the trees. But, you know, I'm not far away from civilization, and I'm quite close to the beauty and the tranquility of the woods. So I've got the best of both worlds. Haven't got to wander very far to be part of nature. And that's me hammock and me bush chair, just chucked in that. Looks like a World War II bomb crater, doesn't it? So as you can see, it's just made from a builder's dumpy bag, cut down. Very handy because it's even got the loops on the end for the cordage, and it's got the like a main loop there, a larger loop. And all I did was I put a couple of lengths of hazel in each end, and I just sort of like tied them just to make them a bit more secure. And I've tried it, you know, and it's comfortable. I've been coming along here the last few weeks, just moving stuff from the other location. Like I said, it was, you know, somebody's found it, and you know, things are going missing and that. So I've moved a bit farther away, but I've stashed you know, like firewood. I've dug a pit, you know. I've got the cheap foam mats, Aldi tarp. You know, what can go wrong with cheap gear in the woods? It's an Cheapo Aldi tarp, Aldi special, only cost us oh no, I keep saying it, $2.99 or something like that, you know. It was like half price, you got a pack of 2. But this is my Cheapo hammock. Cheap and cheerful. And I've said it a few times, but you don't have to spend lots of money to have a wild camp in the woods. You know, everything can be done on a budget if need be. You know, if you just want to discover for yourself if you enjoy camping or not, you don't spend much money to begin with to get into the hobby. You know, you buy the cheap stuff first. You know, I would recommend getting ex-army surplus stuff. Yeah, it can be quite heavy, but you know, it makes you fitter, carrying a bit more weight in the woods. You know, it's bomb-proof. Yeah, most military stuff, it's tried and tested. But all this wood, it's just soaking wet. That's a little bit dry because a lot of it was dry standing wood, but I'll probably have difficulty getting a fire going. And I won't be lighting a fire till it gets dark anyway. And I brought along some buddy burners, and I've gone a little bit nostalgic, you know, I've got a little bit old school. I brought me army mess tins and me hexamine stove. But like a trip down memory lane for me, because I used to use them in the army cadets. But I went off using them a while back because you have to buy the solid fuel blocks. And I thought it's easier just having a little fire and cooking on that. But then when I discovered how to make buddy burners, I thought, well, you can use a buddy burner instead of a hexamine tablet. So, you know, on days like this, well, you didn't want a fire, or you can't get a fire going easily, or it's daytime and, you know, you want to do a little bit of stealth camping. You don't want, you know, people seeing you from miles away lighting fires. Not that I light massive fires, I tend to just light, you know, a small fire for cooking. But full of shite, aren't I? And I've only got about 2 hours of daylight left, so I better get this erected. So there you go, guys. It needs a little bit of fine tuning, but I'm quite happy with that. It's not a very wide piece of material. I couldn't have it sort of like a conventional hammock where you know, it's joined in the middle because it's not wide enough. I'll be too squashed in I mean, hammock campers will understand what I'm talking about, but I'm new to it, but I knew I had to maybe put some sticks in just to give it a bit of rigidity, because it would have just, it's not wide enough really. You know, and I just cut them bits of hazel the other week so that it's green wood, it's not going to snap or anything. And that's not going anywhere, and it's strong. Doesn't get much better than this, the Cheapo hammock camp in the woods, in this beautiful location. Through the trees there. Civilization. Or the uncivilized, whichever way you want to look at it. Although I've got a lovely new hammock, you know, it would look really nice in a place like this. It's well camouflaged. I mean, that thing, it's a white monstrosity. It can be seen from miles away. But what a view. That's east facing over there, and you get the sunrise in the morning. And one of the things I've noticed about hammock camping, which you can't really do any other form of camping, you can basically just camp anywhere as long as you've got 2 trees. I mean, the ground is so uneven here, I couldn't even bivvy. Couldn't definitely not put a tent up. So hammock camping's definitely got its its pluses. I haven't experienced the minuses yet, but that was one of the reasons why I took up bivvying, because you could basically just scan anywhere as long as you've got a reasonably small area of ground that's flat. You just roll out your bivvy and get in, and that's it. That's your home for the night. With tents, you've got to have a decent sized footprint that's flat, haven't you? But I can honestly see the potential of hammock camping and its benefits, and tonight I'm going to find out. My first ever wild camp in a hammock. May it be first of many. I made the mistake, you know, camping in the forest in the middle of summer on a camp bed in me downfill sleeping bag. Well, I thought I was off the ground, I'd be alright, but because when you're lying on your sleeping bag, the down is compressed below you, and I got a really cold back, and that was in the middle of summer, and I realised it's not just conduction from the ground you've got to worry about, it's convection. You know, there's still cold air just below the fabric, so whether you're in a camp bed or a hammock or whatever, you still need a layer of protection from the cold air as well as the ground. Everything's a bit damp, but I should be alright because I'll be in a bivvy. Right, I'll give you a quick look at my setup. As you can see, it's nothing flash, nothing fancy. Them pillars are absolutely soaked through, so I've just covered it in that old tent ground sheet. And I'm in a bivvy, like I said, so I'm not going to get wet. I'll give everything a good shake once it dries. In fact, that wind's getting up now, so everything there is starting to dry off a little bit. As far as knots goes, it's been a first time, you know, I've just gone for the, I don't know what you want to call it really, you know. I'm sure there is some fancy methods of putting hammocks up, but this isn't one of them. It's just a simple case of, you know, the cordage around the tree, you loop at one end and then thread the cordage in from the opposite end and a quick release. And I did the same on the other side as well. As far as drip lines go, water's going to perhaps drip down to about here, and it's going to drip down there, isn't it? Sort of like under. It's not going to, this bit's higher. It's about maybe a foot overlapping it at both ends. And this side I've just, same thing again, I've just tied a loop at one end, fed the other end through, and just did a quick release. And that's about the same. I was a foot overlap. So I mean, if the rain does decide it wants to come down here, I think it's just going to run down there in a way. I mean, what I could do if water did get in and start pooling, I would just put a hole in and just because I'm not going to use it again. The rope I use for the ridge line is just basically the cheap stuff you get from Poundland, pound a roll. It has a bit of stretch in it, but for putting up a tarp it's adequate. I wouldn't trust it for putting up a hammock or anything like that. It's too stretchy, and you know, I don't know what the breaking strain is. Then I've just guide these corner bits down to here. Couldn't be bothered to start tying taut line hitches or anything. And I just use them sliders I've got lying around. And I just fashioned some tent pegs out of hazel. I should have chamfered the edges there, you know, to stop it from splitting when I hit it with the axe, but there's less than an hour of daylight left, so I'm getting really hungry. I'm not going to light a fire till it's dark, but what I think I'll do is I'll just use a buddy burner and I'll just boil some water. I'll have an energy bar or something and a cup of coffee. Wait till it gets dark and then light my fire. It's not going to get cold. I think it's forecast to go down to about 8 degrees Celsius. That's not even cold at all. I've brought I've only got a 3-season sleeping bag, but I brought a space blanket. Just one of them cheap ones, you know, you get from the pound shop. I use it when I think the weather's going to get a little, because a 3-season sleeping bag, I'm a cold sleeper, and even though it's rated down to like 0 degrees Celsius, I still feel the cold when it gets close to that. So it's always handy. They don't weigh much. You know, how you want in your bag just in case you need it. I love this camelback system. Water on tap. It's a lot less hassle just to use a lighter. And although I like the more traditional ways of lighting the fire, sometimes it's just nice just to get a fire going quick and easy. And a buddy burner is just the ideal thing to use. And these just a little screw, isn't it? Now they're out to buy $2.99. I suppose while I'm here, I'll show you some things I've come up with for filming. Because I'm always wondering how to film in the dark. You know, you kind of, it's a little bit difficult sometimes. You know, you've only got one pair of hands, and I've come up with an idea of these the flash brackets actually for like cameras. You can mount different attachments on the top, and what I've done is I've got like a ball connection there. I can't remember where I got it from now actually, and I've got this I think it's 3/4 inch plastic piping. I can stick a torch in the end of there. I'll show you. It actually came with a trail camera, this attachment here. It's like a wall mount. There's all sorts of attachments you can buy, but these brackets, which are designed for like cameras where you know, like an accessory thing, you can attach flashes and make phones, that sort of thing. But once you get it tightened up, there's been a bow joint, it swivels all over the shop. But that goes on the tripod. That'll screw into there. This mount here, it's for the tripod. That screw, that's a, was it? It's a 1/4 inch 20. It's a standard camera thread, and that's basically so I can film on the night time. Which, you know, you get them off eBay relatively cheap, like, and that just swivels up and down, left, right. Ideal for just, you know, when you want your hands free to do other things. I'm waiting for now somebody to come and tell us I kind of camp here. It is. I think that's mud, you know, it's falling off the top of my tarp. I haven't cut them there. I like to think it's just lumps of coffee that hasn't dissolved. So I'll just finish my cup of coffee, and by that time I maybe just pot around and then get the fire on the go. I'll get back to you. I'll take more shade. It's getting dark, isn't it? So you can see my house. Not quite sure exactly where that is actually, what street. But I live just around there somewhere at an undisclosed location. I mean, anybody who watches my videos will know roughly where I live, and if they're clever enough, if they live in the area, then they're exactly where I'm camping. they can just tell, you know. Anyway, local people will know exactly where I am. But I'm lucky to live where I live. I mean, it's Northumberland, man. It's beautiful. In fact, I take it for granted mostly. As a campsite, it's just, well, it's closed down now, but it's just, you know, a couple of miles down the river there. And it's people pay money to come camp here, and I've got it for nothing. It doesn't cost me anything. So I can't understand people paying money to get to a campsite. It's crazy, isn't it? When you can do is spot a wild camping for nothing, for free. As long as you're not stupid and you didn't go and like burning the place down and being disrespectful and, you know, leaving a mess and that. You know, why doesn't more people do it? But it's not even cold, man. And I was supposed to light a fire, and I should be now, but I've had an energy bar and I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing in the woods, tripping. Tripping on chocolate. Oh dear me, I'm full of rubbish, aren't I? But this is it. This is what it's all about for me, you know. Getting out and just doing it. You know, don't sit on your armchairs and talk about it. You know, discuss it on a forum or anything like that. Get out and do it, man. That's what it's all about. Wild camping. You know, and I've said this many times, you know, it makes sense. But you've got to get out and do it. It's no good talking about it. Action speaks louder than words. Well, what am I going to do now then? The thing is, you know, when you're when you're camping in the middle of winter and it's getting dark at 4 o'clock, you've got to have something interesting to do, haven't you? That's one of the things that really bothers me sometimes when I'm camping. Is finding things to do when it gets dark, especially when it's cold and sometimes you're best off in your sleeping bag, you know. But if you've got a little campfire gun, you know, you can just whittle away at something, make a spoon or something like that. When you're on your own, it can be a little bit dull, a little bit boring with the crack, but you know, sometimes it's just therapy, man. You just sit and you relax and you just chill out and you just listen to the sounds of Mother Nature. You know, all the animals going to sleep, the birds roosting, and then you hear the nighttime animals starting to come out, you know, like so the owl, you know, you hear the fox barking, magical. And for me, you know, bivvying on the side of a hill up the Cheapo Hills, it rained all night, and all I had was a thin layer of Gore-Tex to keep us dry, and I didn't get wet, mate. Never had a tarp over us. It stopped the rain, and then when I looked at my sleeping bag, my bivvy bag, that was like the rolling mist and the like rolling over the hills and that, in the hills, and I was this magnificent stag, just running up the side gracefully, just running up the side of the mountain. That did it for me, and I even get like shivers down my spine. You know what I mean? When I think of that moment, because that to me defined what wild camping was for me. Just the freedom. That morning, I felt like that stag, that free, you know, that stag that was so free, just running up and wild, a bit like me, free and wild, a bit mental for coming here. Don't know whether you can see that, but you know, these brackets can be, they're called flash brackets, obviously, to hold a flash for like SLR cameras and that, but you can use them to make rigs. This is like a quick release, you know, that can be took off, put back on. There's one there for the main camera. I'll not take it off, but you get the idea. And this rail on the top, you can use that to mount something else, microphone or second camera, that sort of thing. Just a good solution for, you know, like filming in the dark. So basically I'll just get set up and get a fire going now. I'll just try and make the fire a more traditional way with the char. use that birch bark, set it away, and then I've got a little bit of pine resin. I'm not optimistic, I think everything is a little bit too wet. There's a little bit of snap in these branches. Oh, that's dry, but some of them are as a mixture there, so it's going to be hit and missy whether I get this fire going or not. With this method anyway. A poor craftsman always blames his tools, doesn't he? You get there in the end. Stick that in a bit of birch bark. See if I can get that to ignite. Just about to go, so I'll move it more to the fire. Okay. Get some of that pine resin on there. Damn thing's got a chance of going up, like, because everything's just a little bit damp. I've seen me now when I'm filming, I get it going like this, thinking that it's well away, but turn me back for a split second and the damn thing goes out, which is what normally happens. I'd say what else, it's perseverance. You get there in the end. I nearly gave up with it, using that method with the flint and steel, but you know, like I say, you just persevere. Cook it nicely. And I'll get the onion on and the mushrooms. And it's just guesswork here. Just get a slap in there. Tell you what, just hold the whole lot of it. The more the merrier. I think what I'll do, let that just about nearly cook through, add a touch of water, sprinkle an oxo cube in there, and try and make a bit of a gravy from that. It's all guesswork, guys. Get that oxo cube slapped in there. Now they make it look easy on the telly, didn't they? A bit more difficult in the woods. It's a lot of improvisation. You know, I haven't got clean fingers for a start. There's nearly second takes. And I've actually got some gravy granules to thicken it up. And I've got something which I didn't normally bring. Gloves. Should have them on. It's I try to go too minimal sometimes, you know, and it's detrimental to my health. I'm not going to burn my fingers. what I should have done from day one. Actually, I took too many risks, to be honest with you. There's been loads of times I forgot, thinking the pan has cooled down and just picked it up and brought the end of my fingers. It's not a laughing matter, you know. Anybody likes to get burnt. Right, I'm going to get that water on the floor. Number 2. And I should really warm it right through and then add the granules, but you know what it is, it's just all a big compromise, try to cook in the woods, and you know, it's not a 5-star, you know, hotel. I haven't got like a posh kitchen to cook in, it's all sort of like improvisation as far as I'm concerned. Alright, this is where it's at, till it all tips over and goes into the fire. It was all guesswork, this, like, so. And that'll taste nice. It might not look very nice, might be a bit sloppy, I don't know, but it's kind of better out. And my fingers are burning again, so I think I'll get yellow gloves on to be on the safe side. I know I couldn't get a squirrel tonight, but pork chops is the next best thing. It's got to be better turkey, and I'm sick of the sight of turkey. These gloves are getting me nerves now. There's nice and cool, that butter. He's salting it yet, but there's plenty of gravy. Actually, you know what it is. I'm gonna return to my chair, shift camera angles and get some eating done. Well, I'm not gonna get much for presentation, you know, but for taste, I'll probably get a, well, taste it and we'll find out. That's as good as it gets for me. Right, I've got a, it's not a very steep slope down there, it's just muddy. But I need to go down there and get some water, wash my dishes. So what I'm going to do is, to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to wrap this old washing line around the tree and use that as a bit of a support for us, a bit of a way to get down and get back up. It's not the best sort of cordage to use, but it's all I've got. Plenty of rope anyway, plenty of washing line. It's a bit slippery like, but it'll do. Just double it up and I'll use that to get down and back. Actually, I think what I'll do, because I don't think I've got enough to double it, I'll tie a knot, a loop in one end, feed the other end through that loop. I mean, look at that. It's a bit frayed, isn't it? That's no good at all, that bit there. Please, I noticed that actually. Tie another loop then. And here's the reason why I was chucking it. Right. I'll check it on the way doing, it should be alright. Should be good to go. Bit of a path down here, so it's not difficult. It's just like I say, it's more for slipping than outdoors. As you can see, there's a bit of a path going up, going back. Yeah, it's not difficult, it's just the fact that I'm going to be slipping all hour. It's the only way I can get doing. Nice little water feature actually. Right. Yeah, I've got some water now, so that'll do. Boil that when I get back. Then we're going to get back up here then. Oh, I didn't make no easy for myself. You can see here all these skid marks here. That's where I climbed up. Tried to cross here the other day. Right, that's water collected. Job's a good one. Right, find my way back now. Well, I've had a good night up to now. I haven't rolled off this, it hasn't snapped, it hasn't thrown us into the river. It's been canny. I think I'm gonna take the hammock camping actually. I don't know why I didn't try it a long time ago. But it's dead comfortable. You know, I thought I would feel the movement, you know, when you're in it, you know, the swinging and that. But I'm out with the move of it, and I've got me a brand new one that the wife bought us for Christmas when I get back, so never mind. What can I say? It's been a great year for me. There's only another 3 days or so before 2016. And if I look back on the year, I think, well, I would like to have gotten out a bit more with the camping. But you know, I've got other commitments, that sort of thing. But when I did go out, you know, I met some good lads. They killed that trip. I was over the moon with that. I felt like I knew them before I even met them. You know, them having channels. You sort of like get to know them through their videos. And great bunch of lads. I would love to go on with again with them, and I hope I get invited to it again. And hopefully I'll meet a few other guys as well. So 2016 for me, I want to get out and do a bit more wild camping. What can I say? As you can see, it's not very high tech, but it works. You know, it doesn't look very luxurious, but it does the job anyway. I'm just going to let that fire go. I don't know what if you can see it. Nice, it's frying up some heat. The thing is with oak, you know, it's a hard wood and it just burns slow. Nice and slow, and you get a lot of heat coming from it. So I'm having a look over there. I can see the lights and civilization, and I did miss it one little bit. I think what I'll do, you know, I'm just gonna pack all this up tomorrow, and I'm just gonna leave it like rolled up, and I'll just give somebody a challenge if they want it. They can come and find it, and they can keep it. You can have it all. You can have the hammock, the mats and the tarp, because like I say, I've got a new hammock the wife bought us for Christmas. I've got nice tarps, you know, in the house. I tend to just use these because if I have a fire, I don't want to risk burning holes in my silt tarp, you know, or my DD super light tarp. I want to keep them nice, but you know, a $2.99 Aldi tarp, you're not bothered about that. If it gets a hole, you just stick a bit of duct tape over it. Job done. So you're not going to get wet. These sort of setups are great for just leaving in the woods. So you don't have to bring loads of gear in with you. You can just come in with a light bag, you know, just your sleeping bag. You know, 1 or 2 items, your food, a few cans, that sort of thing. and the majority of your gear's here hidden. So I'll just thank everybody again who subscribes to my channel, all the nice comments, you know, and the kind words, and even the trolls. I'll thank yous as well, you know if it's entertained yous. But aye, it's 2015, great year. Right, I'm gonna sign off now. I've run out of crack, so I just wish us all a very happy new year, and you know, I can get the stupid tinsel off my head. Morning. Well, I must have slept well last night because it's just turned 11 o'clock and the sun's barely above the trees, not even cold. And it was the sound of a shotgun, somebody shooting over there across the fields. That's woke me up, so if it wasn't for that, I may have still been lying here till the afternoon. I was sort of like up and around the camp till about 3 in the morning because I did a bit more cooking. I ate the rest of those chops, and I just wasn't tired at all. I was just in my elements here. It's just so nice. It's been so mild. It's, you know, I've had a break from the rain and I just didn't fancy going to sleep. And then there was a bit of a moon come out and everything was sort of like, you could see across the fields. You know, it was like a little bit, it looked like twilight. And there was sounds of the animals and the owls, and I was just lying here, just in my bivvy, in my element. I was just loving it. So I didn't really feel like going to sleep, and it was, I obviously drifted off at some point. But I'm really loving this hammock camping. It's a little bit lopsided, but when I lie over this way, it's still a bit lopsided. If I put my legs on that side. I was conscious of the fact that it was a little bit wonky last night, but I was in my bag and I couldn't be bothered to get out the alter it. Right, so I'm going to get packed away now and get away home because the wife will be expecting us. I'm normally back around about 12 o'clock, so it's going to be about 1 by the time I get cleared up and that. Makes you sick, doesn't it? I've got an empty bin liner, so I'll take some of this rubbish away with me. I'm along here regular with the dog, and next time I'm along I'll take a bit more out. I cannot take the sleeping bag and the pillows away and the quilt, what's left of it. There's a tin of something hasn't even been opened yet. Bloody ridiculous. There's an old saying, if everybody left the woods with more litter than what they took in, there'd be no litter at all, would there? Food for thought.